Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Today on the program, a Muslim leader and peace builder hopes to make it to the Senate.
Samira Gutoc po, isang ina, isang survivor, at sana po isusulong ang tahanang mapayapa.
The roast among the thorns in the 8-man opposition slate.
Baka maunang maranaw na babaeng senador sa buong republikang historya ng Pilipinas.
Her stand on key issues, the peace process and death penalty.
We have experienced almost 20 all-out wars in 40 years.
And the president's explanation on his remarks on women. Senatorial candidate Samira Gutoc joins us live. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pinky Webb. A Marawi civic leader is joining the hotly contested senatorial race, but will Mindanaoans help her win? She was a member of the Bangsamoro Transition Commission, but later on resigned due to the president's comments on women. She also appealed to Congress not to extend martial law in Mindanao. But where does she stand on key issues? How does she propose to solve the water problem and conflict in Mindanao? Will she give the death penalty for heinous crimes a chance? Let's go straight to the source of the story. Senatorial candidate Samira Gutoc. Ma'am, it's good to see you again.
Pinky. How are you, a fan?
Welcome to the show, ma'am. Thank you for being here and thank you for your time. Okay.
Yes.
Ma'am, ang dami po nating pag-usapang issue, but I'm just going to start with this very unfortunate and sad news. MILF Vice Chair Ghazali Jafar has died. He worked for the peace process.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about your working relation with him?
So I don't have a dad. So actually, siya po yung isang nag-trigger sa akin na pumasok and to run for the Senate.
Siya ba?
Yes po. I texted him before I made the decision, and he gave me 3 reasons. And actually, I lost the cell phone where I had it, so I could show it with evidence. So he was very special to the BTC. Kasi po yung Maguindanao, there were like letters in the alphabet na wala. So chika chika is jega jega. So we would actually tease him, sir, gusto mo mag-cheka chika, jega jega. So he's the presiding officer of us 21 people from different tribes, and you know. Pinky, how it's very hard to unite Muslims. He did, because he's kind of the old guy na talang, kung sa Star Wars, siya pa yung wise man. Ano ba yung sa wise man? Yodo?
Yeah.
And he was that. He was very special.
Now that, well, of course, the peace process is obviously is moving forward more than ever, how much of a loss in a father figure would this have an effect on his death?
Si Central Committee member siya, ma'am eh. So, I don't know if it will create a void. And of course, Ms. Wari becoming like, you know, like this unifier. So, I think Jafar is a big loss. And I hope the young people of BTA and kayong mga BTA members will step up and unify the whole Bangsamoro. And Christians must feel that they're part of Bangsamoro. Kasi I know Zamboanga Cotabato and all the sentiments that they feel that, you know, Zamboanga siege is caused by the MNLF, the Moro fronts. It's a time for us to unify. I mean, we've got the law, but, you know, we also have to prove to the Filipino people that we deserve to govern, and that's 10 billion pesos, di ba? And sabi na, we've been given too much already, 20 years of ARM. And I credit Hataman. I mean, our Mujib Hataman is a friend. He's done the transparency project in ARM and ISO na kami. I'm very proud to be serving 1 year as a legislator under Mujib Hataman as governor, appointed under Aquino. But Jafar's loss is something to fill a void. Dapat mag-step up lahat ng mga Bangsamoro leaders.
Pero are you...
Lessons learned.
Nangangamba ka ba that there might be some problems that may arise due to his death?
Oh, wow. It's hard to gauge now, but my best friend is one of the BTC Commissioner, my Sara Dandamon, Raisa Jajuri. They're very grounded. Yeah. Napaka-humble nila mga tao. Sila yung humaharap sa COMELEC. And I think there are these young people, second successor generation, that Jafar gave his guidance to, including me.
Yeah.
Who he guided to the Senate. I hope, Jafar, that you'll give me the same prayers in there, wherever you are.
What was your last conversation with him when
Well, we were texting and I said, should I run, sir? And sabi niya, just be careful. Of course, we want you to win, but you make a decision and you stick by it, and you... he gave me one to three reasons to do so, and then I I said, sige po, sir.
Can you
just
share
guide me."
us some of the reasons?
That we need a representation. And then, two, just your heart. Importante yung conviction mo, talagang tinatanggap mo yan. And then, malay mo, manalo ka. Malay mo, manalo ko.
Malay mo. At nagpapakilala ka naman sa publiko because, you've attended debates and, of course, you're a part of Ocho Derecho. How are the people accepting you?
Oh, I'm so grateful talaga, Pinky. And CNN was the first platforms that gave me national consciousness of the Marawi crisis. There's David Santos and sina those who served Marawi crisis. And yung Ocho Derecho, I think, saw me from the CNN shows and the coverage sa Marawi. And I feel very honored na Tanyadas, the Joknos, nakakatabi ko sila. I mean, who am I nationally? Di ba, Pinky? Except maybe yung nangyari sa Marawi, the peace process. But I'm very grateful kay Senator Kiko for giving me a chance, for convincing me. Kasi I didn't want to run.
Ayaw mo ba talaga nung una?
Of course, ma'am. I had a humanitarian crisis, and I'm open to my bank accounts being open because I don't really have much. I mean, kung may nag-deposit man lang ng donation, thank you. But, I don't really have that wherewithal. Is it wherewithal the word? The strength.
Yeah.
I don't have that machinery.
Yeah.
Hindi po ako may political. I'm not LP organically.
Yeah.
So thank you, LP, for adopting me.
So, what do people, pag nilalapitan ka po ng tao, ano yung pinaka-concern nila? Or what's a common thing they tell you?
Why enter yellow? Isa. For especially the Muslim Filipinos who don't know the political party system. Na you need a party. And those that have stood by the Filipino ideals also. That Rashid Lucman, one of the first Muslim leaders of our history who fought for the Bangsamoro, spoke against the Jabida massacre March 18 and was yellow, was a dear friend of Senator Ninoy. And so they forgot that. Sabi ko, you keep accusing the yellow of things, but then you didn't know that the MLF was born out of an expose speech by Senator Ninoy, a father of our then President Pinoy. So, isa pong question yon sa, and then how will you, Muslim woman? There is no law that will allow a Muslim woman among Muslims. So, sabi ko, well, ang lakas na po ng women's movement and among Muslim women, and I'm very grateful for past women who ran.
Yeah.
Santanina Rasul, Yasmin Lau.
Yeah, are those the people you look up to, the women leaders who have ran in the past?
I look up to Mother Teresa and some of them. Oh, syempre, Mother Teresa masyadong ideal, but and Kushayin sa Mascom ikaw, sa Corina and Karen Davila.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm a Mascom.
Sa pag-usapan natin, I want to talk about the current issues before we actually talk about your priorities. There's a water shortage. Some call it actually a crisis. Another concessionaire has actually come into helping Manila Water. Manila is saying that they're going to give about 50 million liters a day to help the problem. How would you? What do you think? How do you think government is addressing the problem of the water shortage? Because it's been, for some residents, it's been 6 days of no water.
Yeah, it's shocking po kasi syempre I'm from Mindanao tapos nandito ako for a while and depend on our water supply for our everyday needs. And bawat ina at bawat pamilya, pangangailangan niya yan. Ang complaint sa amin sa Mandaluyong Ocho Derecho walk kahapon is about water. Don't tell us other things. Tell us how you'll solve water. And itong sagot ko sa CNN, it's about really preparation. Were we prepared and are we looking at what options to look into? So sabi ko, coming from Lake Lanao area, a water area, you might want to think of other sources of supply for Manila. So you might want to look into provinces and also develop it. Of course, kaya may build sila. So we have to be prepared. And my issue palagi as a mother, as a rescue team worker, kasi doon po ako nag-active, ma'am, sa Marawi crisis, rescue worker, is always preparation, and having more suppliers might help, and getting the contingency plans out.
But were you even surprised that this happened?
Ma'am, I'm surprised. I'm not surprised because I've been advocating for preparedness, so wala tayo. And not surprised because, my goodness, ngayon mangyayari, napaka-summer, mainit.
Yeah.
Ang daming mga bata nag-complain. And sa open forum kahapon sa Mandaluyong,
What were they saying?
It was a son. It was a lalaki na bata. Ma'am, sirs, anong solution mo sa water?
Oh, they would obviously ask you, yun, kasi yun ang problema na kinakaharap nila ngayon.
Sa class, sabi ng bata. It's so great to see open forum questions. And sabi namin, hindi na naman yan to yellow or issue ng red. It's about coming together on water.
Yeah.
Water security as well.
It's for the public. It's
for
a priority.
It's for our future as well. Kasi po, ma'am, talagang drying up is a warning po ng mga ilang scientists. Actually, ma'am, environmentalist ako, here in Marawi, which supplies the Lake Lanao, where I'm from, supplies 7 hydroelectric power plants of Mindanao. supplies the energy of Mindanao. So the warning is if we dry up and not take care of the Lake Lanao, Mindanao will be a problem.
Death threats also making headlines, ma'am. There are 3 priests who had a press conference Monday, and they were saying that they've come out in the open to say that they've been receiving death threats because of their criticism on the war on drugs of the Duterte administration. It's a question of, should the president be blamed for this, or should this not be thrown at the president? What are your thoughts?
The chilling effect of martial law Mindanao and the Tokang, etc. And yung mga yung si Patricia Fox, these are Sereno. Ito may chilling effect yan eh. And the effect on the language niya doon sa mga obispo and yung mga threats on the priests have. May mga dikit-dikit ma'am yan. It's like a weaving. It's like woven to each other. And some police are actually abusive. Yung 3 Muslim imams that were detained in Tugigaraw, actually, pinaalis nila, pinarelieve daw sila. Kasi they testified in viral na pinainom sila with water and then they nag-dry yung kanilang tongue. So they allege that they've been framed up. So the chilling effect of the language of the highest official has a chilling effect. It does create some abusive element on people who enforce. I honor the policemen. They're my partners. I'm the chairman of the Anti-Crime Watch in Mindanao, in Marawi. But it has an effect. I'm very sad.
However, if you talk to Malacanang, presidential spokesperson Sal Panelo is saying, why blame the president? This could be pranksters. This could be even anti-Duterte people doing this, sending possibly death threats to priests. Is that something you would believe?
I'd cite the example, Panelo might not contextualize that when you speak language, di ba po, there's a law that you cannot say bomb in an airport.
Bawal yun.
Bawal po yun. In the Holoblast Church, I actually said, President, you might be part of the peace problem because of the language that we use. There are really cuckoos out there. Hindi mo alam kung sino nakatago sa isang bahay just looking at his cell phone. Oh, di ba, I have pala a go signal from somebody up there At saka ito mga riding in tandem. Talaga naman po, ma'am, yung mga riding in tandem, walang batas. Pwedeng hindi EJK sa inyo police, pero when they see every day naman na pwedeng mamatay ang tao, may mga riding in tandem who get the go signal.
So basically what you're saying is what, ma'am? The president should be a little bit more careful?
Circumspect po tayo, ma'am. I'm a woman. And of course, yung bomb nga na word, hindi mo pwedeng sabihin sa airport. Mas lalo on air, PTV4. We shouldn't give room. And I did say to PTV4 that they said, yes, okay, ma'am, we've actually asked the opposition candidates to send us their statements. Kasi I said, why use PTV4 time for all the administration political time to endorse candidates?
Oh, you questioned that?
Yes, I actually did. And they responded that we actually reached out to you then sa Ocho. So I would seek advisories from rather than hear all these bad words, pag-asa advisories, water advisories, disaster risk, fire prevention advisories. Tingnan mo naman, may nasunog sa mga ilan na whole location is burnt.
However, the president is saying, of course, this is his freedom of expression. We're going to talk about that after the break. And also, you are against the death penalty, right? There's a story, a very sad story about a 16-year-old who was possibly raped and her face was, skinned. We're going to ask you your thoughts on this. We'll be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Senatorial candidate Samira Gutoc. You're saying that the president should be more circumspect with his language. Again, as before the break, ma'am, I said that the president answered you. Yung kanyang mga remarks on women, he says really this is his freedom of expression. Let's listen to exactly what the president said.
You know, you women, you are deprived me of my freedom of expression. Hindi ko siya nasabi sa inyo yan. But you criticize every sentence or word I say. But that is my freedom to express myself. Even if I am just a president. Do not take me away from the crowd of being a Filipino citizen. Kaya kayo mga gaga kayo, huwag kayong mga... It's the freedom of expression.
Reaction?
Respeto po sa style niya. since Davao. I know his style, being a fellow Mindanaoan.
Yeah.
And his Maranao blood is from my municipality, Balui, Lanao del Norte. So, respeto po sa the way he expresses himself. It's very natural and kaya po napamahal ng napakaraming Pilipino. But, you know, like, sana po yung i-complement yung airtime po, ma'am, with policy direction. Kasi what you express also has implications sa policy direction mo para sa kababaihan. So sana po, ma'am, sir, i-temper naman po na meron kang sasabihin ito yung batas, maternity leave, okay na, mga ganon. Para naman po na-feel namin na talaga namang you're setting the direction for all agencies to implement what is pro-women.
Kulang ho ba? Is that what you're saying?
Well, he is the highest official that is given airtime. Sana po na, kasi it cascades yung kanyang sasabihin will cascade down the line. And yung mga bata po kasi, because this is like public airtime, naririnig nila. And sa Hong Kong, napaka-fanatic natin po. Yes, pro-DDS tayo, OFWs. Pero yung, sabi nga niya, from his heart doesn't mean it's truth. Diba?
Well, some are jokes.
So, pag na-insulto tayo mga kababayan, diba, yung ating, nasasabi rin natin, galing din sa puso natin na na-insulto tayo.
Ma'am, you know, there was a survey that came out very recently. It's an SWS survey. And if I were to summarize that, the President's, siguro yung lumabas sa survey, either categorized as either very good or excellent. I'm going to start with this. His net satisfaction rating on the fourth quarter, ang sabi po sa kanya, there's been a rise. His rating is now at 66% from plus 50 in September 2018. Again, this is the net satisfaction rating. It's categorized as very good. Ibig sabihin, very good. Gusto ng publiko na they're happy, they're satisfied with the President's governance.
SWS po ito. In our project Makinig din, ma'am, to counter it, is that in 110,000 conversations with 20,000 volunteers, the issue is trabaho, presyo, and still they're sad. Hindi pa rin namin, hindi po kasayahan. So it doesn't really necessarily say, he's of course very iron, and the psychology na gusto natin ng malakas, like yung ama. Ama figure, bawat pamilya gusto niya yung kanyang ama malakas, but doesn't mean that everything that's done is okay. So, I'm like that. My dad is also strong, pero hindi sinasabi, when I disagree with him, everything is okay.
Okay, let's go to the vote of public confidence. Parang mataas din po ang kanyang, sinasabi po, basically, ni presidential spokesperson, rather, Sal Panelo, this is a vote of public confidence and unshakable trust to the government. In other words, they're saying that the president still has the trust, people still trust him, the public trusts him, the people are satisfied with him.
Around us then, because we've gone around like 4 months, 3 months, and Taho vendor in Quiapo would say, yung mga tundo na yan na napapatay sa Tonghang, we used to believe. We used to believe. And ang daming mga we used to believe. So, ma'am, yung mga kaharap din namin would say, hindi kami na-reach ng surveys. This is one survey, and what we are saying is there are other voices that necessarily are not reflected in that unshakable comment.
Okay, excellent. The president is excellent, ma'am, in 2 areas. This is very close to your heart, promoting women's rights. He got a plus 71. That's a net satisfaction rating of plus 71. That's very high. Kaya nga excellent.
There's a State of the Women's report that elucidates that. Kasi Magna Carta, ilan lang naman po ang gender desks pa natin at saka yung mga police women. I don't have that data right now, but I haven't really seen them visible sa news that there's... no VAUSI, ma'am, no? No violence against women, children reports doesn't mean there's no VAUSI. So I wouldn't know if, where is that referring to?
Okay, building and maintenance of public works, you got a plus 70. And then ito, also very telling, at least from this SWS survey, promoting human rights, and syempre Marawi, dun muna tayo sa promoting human rights, plus 62. The president got a net rating of plus 62. And in reconstructing Marawi, plus 60.
Yung CHR, muntik na magka 1 peso budget. So yung human rights education, which I advocate, especially in Mindanao, martial law, in-implement mo, pero where is HR education? Do we have the civilian, military, PNP, bayanihan programming? So I, again, do not know where the human rights indicator or success is coming from.
Reconstructing Marawi City.
Oh, wow.
Also very close to...
Problematic kasi we have the groups that say na after almost 2 years, hindi pa na-implementa. But of course, the financing programs by DTI, by cooperatives, malakas. But financing is not rehabilitating.
Okay, I want to just shift very quickly to, I know that you have been saying no to death penalty, ma'am, no?
Yes.
And there's this very unfortunate, sad story about a 16-year-old who was possibly raped, or yung pang-ilalim niya, binalatan pa yung... Would you change your mind knowing these things, you know, something like this happened?
Pinky, alam ko, nangyayari sa amin, pag ni-rape ang babae, mismo yung pamilya, EJK, pinapatay. Muslim yun. Pero I'm looking you in the eye na ngayon, kayong mga kamusliman, death penalty, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, is not the Philippine criterion. In the Constitution says no inhumane, excessive punishment shall be done. And for 20 years po, Ma'am Pinky, that I've been monitoring jails and the legal assistance programming for women, especially from Mindanao, who come to Manila and bigla na lang na-pick up sila because nasama sila sa raid, there will be innocents that will be taken under death penalty because of the illegal possession of drugs.
Yeah. So, still, even with the situation, a report like this, still no to death penalty?
No to death penalty.
Yeah.
Eh, ang problema natin dyan, bakit nangyari? The roots of criminality, bakit? Bakit hindi siya na-protectionan? Where were the police patrolling at night? That is the issues. Roots of terrorism, bakit may Abu Sayyaf? Eh kasi nga, may mga batang yan, wala palang edukasyon din.
Okay. Also, the ICC, it's also a story that aalis na po tayo ng ICC by March 17, if I'm not mistaken, and there could possibly be an investigation. Is there something that the Ocho Derecho candidates may plan to do? Because the question on the withdrawal from the ICC is pending still before the Supreme Court.
Knowing the mga kasama ko, mga lawyers yan, mga pro-human rights yan, I'm sure talaga magka-question yan sila. And ako, I feel very strongly and sad na syempre kami na galing from massacre stories of Mindanao in the past, 1970s, 80s. Very sad that ICC will not be able to try generals or soldiers who were responsible for massacres of the past.
We'll be taking another short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Senatorial candidate Samira Gutoc. Ma'am, yung debate, ayaw na ng COMELEC. Hindi naman sa ayaw, sinabi nila there's no time. And it could be favoring some candidates because napakarami ng kandidato, 62. Tuloy pa rin ho ba yung hamon ng Ocho Derecho for a senatorial debate?
Tuloy na tuloy po with Secretary Mar and Bam. Kasi po nag-ronda sila, but kami sa mga press cons together, 5 of us, in the rounds. We're continuing to ask. Sana po ay pagbigyan. Voters education is mandatory kasi former NAMFEL po ako at former PPCRV volunteer din. Importante po yung yung maipa-open. Hindi lang billboarding. They were already 3 months billboarding themselves in NLEX, SLEX, and EDSA. That already gave them undue advantage. Ito mga other incumbents and others. So kami, I'm very thankful to CNN. Please, COMELEC, you're a partner of CNN. April 27, motu proprio, exercise your powers to ask these candidates to attend or else.
You heard that? Moto proprio, ha?
You have your
Sabi ni Ma'am
powers.
Samira. But you were also saying that
Sabi
you
na
were...
walang gastos kasi Ma'am Pinky. Ito na, CNN is gastosing.
Gastos
Diba?
Ma'am, yung sinabi niyo din, kailangan gusto niyo ang mga kandidato college graduate?
Dapat. Tingnan mo bakit sila umiiwas sa debate. No Senate, no debate. No debate, no Senate.
Dapat ganon?
Ano mag-uusap?
But somebody wants somebody wants legislation on that. I think it's Congressman Erin Tanyada. Parang gusto nila na mandatory yun.
Amendment to the Kaya lang natatakot ngayon iba kasi constitutional issue yun.
Oo nga, okay. That's why kailangan, if anything, kailangan siya gawing batas. Priorities in the Senate, ma'am.
Bantayan. Ang nangyari sa mga nasusunugan, na yung Marawi Rehab, wala pa rin. At saka yung BOL, Bangsamoro Organic Law, since ako naman ay taga roon, kung may pondo ba talaga, parang takot-takot na wala yatang pondo itong 80 members ng BTA to even draft the admin code. Kasi yung malaking bagay po, transition towards a real functioning 2022 government.
It starts there. I mean, after the vote, that's the next step.
We're talking one grenade kasi in Bangsamoro affects investor confidence sa buong Pilipinas. Yun ang connect doon eh. Kaya siguro ako inspired din na maging partisipante that I might be the first Muslim woman to make it after 30 years.
If you were to win, what's the first bill you're going to file?
First bill to file, bantayan ang Marawi Rehab.
Okay.
And then peace education, peace programming.
Yung dalawa.
Yes, po.
Yun ang dalawang priority ninyo. And the campaign so far of Ocho Derecho, some were criticizing kasi nag-Hong Kong daw kayo at Totoo bang nilangaw ang inyong kampanya? Totoo ba yun?
Well, hindi ko na-count po, pero yung dinaanan namin, definitely may mga hindi pumapansin, may mga maraming nagtatambay naman for the rest day, no, Sunday. So yung mga talagang solidly, mga volunteers at about 100 so, nadagdagan nyo kasi yung mga bystanders. So yun po, we were in that Lambeth Park or Chatian Square, and nakita naman yung pictures po. Please check out Non-Fake News sa Facebook.
All right. Ma'am Samira, we wish you luck, of
Yay.
course, in your Senate bid. And you're going to a press conference
Salamat sa CNN for the
after this.
for
Of
the
course,
airtime.
we invite as many candidates as possible to also get your take
Give
on
them a
key
chance.
issues, di ba?
Level the playing field.
And so you, the public, can get to know them better, and we have an informed choice. Ma'am Samira, again, good luck.
Thank you,
Maraming
Pinky.
salamat po sa inyo. And thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.